What's up, guys? My name is Bryce Van Hoosen, and today we are checking out the Hesher version 3 from This Heavy Earth, based right here in Portland, Oregon. No, not Oregon. Don't say Oregon. That's bad. Right here in Portland, Oregon. All right, so single chain on that little demo piece that you heard at the beginning. I was playing my, where is it? Not this one. I was playing my Charvel Dinky with an EMG 81 in the bridge, going into my pedal board, and right now I am boosting with the Master Effects EQ-FH, which is a really cool Furman PQ3 in a box kind of thing, and then the Grim 3 from This Heavy Earth as well, going into the Hesher V3 preamp pedal, and then from there I am feeding it into a Zool noise gate, as well as this old-ass Maxon CP102 compression limiter, which sounds good, and I was using that on the leads specifically. And then from there, going into the power section of this here Fryette power station, and using two cabinet setups, one going into my 1987 Marshall JCM 800 cabinet with vintage 30s, miking that up Fredman style, two SM57s, and then also going into the Neural DSP Soldano X VST plugin and just using the IR section, the cabinet section from that. And then of course on the leads, I was playing this here. This is my, what is it? What year is this thing made? 2017 Jackson King V Pro in Ferrari red, which is the fastest color, of course, with an EMG 57 and 66 in the bridge and neck, respectively. All right, man, so we really do live in the golden age of guitar gear. Really, any kind of preamp or whatever, amplifier, you want to go digital, you want to go full tube, you want to go preamp into a power amp, just sort of old school style. Or if you want a little amp in a box, man, there's cool shit out there. The This Heavy Earth Hesher V3 is of the latter variety, which honestly I don't hear a lot of people talking about too much. Good old-fashioned solid state preamp in a box, not digital, nothing like that. So yeah, I feel like digital in this day and age kind of gets a lot of the praise for making the sort of amp experience smaller and sort of putting amps into boxes and things like that. But you know, Shea over at This Heavy Earth is making some really killer kind of more solid state based stuff. And man, it sounds awesome, especially when you combine it with something like a tube power amp like the Fryette power station. You get that really kind of nice tight solid state front end with a little bit of that power tube oomph that just kind of, you know, kicks you in the balls, so to speak. Who doesn't like to be kicked in the balls? I know, I love that. All right, so the Hesher V3 is based off of kind of a modded Marshall sort of circuit in a little tiny pedal box. And yeah, man, it basically, you know, kicks ass. It sounds really just kind of like a straightforward, great sounding, albeit solid state, JCM 800 kind of thing. So, you know, what is the difference between sort of a tube front end and kind of a solid state front end? I mean, I think solid state's going to be a little bit tighter. I think it kind of reminds me, honestly, a little bit of like what they were trying to do with like the old Randall RG100, that sort of thing, which was to sort of make a Marshall kind of sounding amplifier, but make it solid state. And so this really nails it. And the controls really, if you know 800s, you know Marshalls, that sort of thing, 2203s, 2204s, you're able to dial it in pretty much exactly the same. I mean, these are settings that I used for both the lead and the rhythm sections for that little demo I did at the start of the video. And yeah, man, this is pretty much how I would dial in kind of like a stock unmodified JCM 800. But with this, there's actually a little bit more gain, even though the tone stack pretty much about the same as a classic 800, a little bit more gain on tap. So let's go ahead and check out the controls and we'll see, you know, kind of what this thing can do on its own. And yeah. All right, so I just kicked off the I just kicked off the Master Effects EQ FH, as well as the This Heavy Earth Grim 3, and now we're just going straight in. Just Hesher on its own, the way that I have it dialed in so far. Definitely back off that. So really, it feels just almost exactly like a tighter front end from a JCM 800, with just a little bit more gain. It's definitely not going to get into sort of like, you know, JVM territory or even like 5150 territory. We're still doing sort of the classic Marshall kind of thing here, which is really, you know, everybody used pedals, and This Heavy Earth, Shea being a pedal manufacturer, of course it's going to sound really good using it with a boost in front, or a couple boosts, an EQ and a boost, like I just showed previously. But let's check it out with a Boss SD1, you know, name a more classic combo, peanut butter jelly, other things that go together, Netflix and chilling, a Boss SD1 and a Marshall style circuit. So let me kick that thing on and we'll see how that sounds. Where did I put this? Number 5, numero 5. Oh yeah, there we go. Classic. All right, I'm gonna cut back the gain just a tad here. The bass, man, actually, you know, I'll scoop those mids a little bit. And then the presence, as in traditional Marshall fashion, the presence always really can kind of rip your head off. So easy to dial in though. If you know kind of your Marshall circuits and sort of how to dial those in, which some people don't, there's a bit of a learning curve, as I had to figure out if you watch some of my older Marshall videos, like that Marshall Origin one. I had no idea what I was doing, but here we go. Yeah, man, just a little bit of tweaking on this thing, man. Classic kind of tone stack, control layout, presence, master, gain, bass, middle, treble. That's kind of all you need. And you know, anything else, you just kind of throw in some additional pedals or peripherals on the side, EQs, that sort of thing, and man, really, it can kind of do it all. That's what I love so much about Marshall style circuits. It's just sort of like a blank canvas ready for you to sort of put your artistic vision onto. All right, let's see, more treble, more mids. Cut the bass a little bit, maybe some more presence. What is it? That's all the way up, not all the way up. Ooh. Yeah, I kind of really don't know what else to say, man. It's just super straightforward. It just sounds great. You know, plug it in, put it into a some kind of power amp, plug it into your amp's effects loop, and man, add a boost, you're off to the races. Even something like, you know, a $60 super overdrive. The thing just sounds fantastic. There you go. And you know, it takes pedals, obviously, like I said, really well. Some of the digital stuff, I've noticed that if you throw a pedal in front of it, it just doesn't kind of have the same sort of feel that a pedal in front of, say, an actual amp does. This feels much like an amp with a pedal. You don't get that kind of like, you know, I guess it would be sort of a weird impedance mismatch, or you're sort of like clipping the digital front end of kind of a modeling pedal or something like that. And as we know, digital clipping, not the same as analog clipping. Analog clipping sounding good, digital clipping sounding like absolute dog and cat shit. Both combined, put together. It's the worst thing ever. So yeah, there you go, man. This Heavyearth Hesher V3. If you're super into old school Marshalls like I am, this guy right here, check it out, man. You know, it doesn't weigh as much as a JCM 800, I can tell you that much. But it definitely kind of sounds like that, and really sort of gives me a little bit of that kind of super tight kind of front end feel that you get from solid state. Which is not, it's not a bad thing. It's not, you know, sometimes solid state power sections can be a little iffy, but throw this, like I said, into the effects loop of a tube amp or whatever, you kind of got the best of both worlds. Harmonics, man, listen to that. But yeah, man, sounds great. This Heavyearth Hesher V3. check it out. I'm going to be using this thing a whole hell of a lot more. It's, to be perfectly honest, it's probably going to make it onto the next album just because it sounds so good and so tight and so old school. So, Shea, really great job, man. I'm super happy with how that thing sounds. All right, I am Bryce Van Hoosen. If you like this kind of stuff, please like and subscribe, and I'll be back with more absolute tomfoolery real soon here. Yeah, real soon. All right, I'll see you next time.